Hello, Insatiable listeners. Wow, it's been a while and a lot has happened since my last update in July. I'm dropping in here to let you know Insatiable will now be returning in the summer of 2021 instead of January for two main reasons. First is personal. I am personally getting my own health back together from pregnancy. This includes working on my own insomnia, plantar fasciitis, and getting to a healthier weight post pregnancy. It's only been a year after giving birth that I feel I have the capacity to focus on my own health and weight as a result of being pregnant. I went into my pregnancy feeling great. I took amazing care of myself while pregnant. I had the most epic workout of my life giving birth. Carlos was like, I saw muscles in your back I never knew existed. And then between it taking Essa about 9 months to sleep through the night, my own hormonally driven insomnia, we had a ton of childcare challenges thanks to COVID, on top of already being short staffed, as it was my great idea to try to get all my work done in 3 days and take care of Essa on Monday and Fridays. And that was really burning me out. So burnout that I got super sick in June. It was sicker than I'd been since being on chemo when I was 13 years old. A lot of you have asked me, was it COVID? So I got tested for COVID antibodies. I did not have them. My naturopath tested me with her system that, helped me. If you're a regular Insatiable listener, her system helped me get pregnant. The way that she tested me and said I did have COVID. And I had texted her about not having the antibodies, and she just reminded me that COVID affects everyone so differently, which is part of the mystery. So did I have it? It seems, on one medical framework I did. In the other medical framework, I don't have the antibodies. So those are obviously different tests and asking different questions. But I'm not quite sure what I had, but I was really sick from basically being burnout. And then this August, I started to get really bad heel pain, went to a podiatrist and basically have plantar fasciitis, which is inflammation of, basically the ankle, the ankle, and it's really painful. It probably came from working out barefoot while I was pregnant, and now it's making like any weight bearing workouts a challenge. So I'm slowly making my way back to my body in a way that feels healthy for me. So I just need some extra time and TLC beyond the foundational work I always do. And so my health has to become a priority. And also, Essa just turned 1. And now that we are all sleeping most nights, the time is just flying by. As I write this, his 2 front teeth are coming in. He has the 2 bottom ones. He looks like a little beaver. It's adorable. And I, in part, busted my ass these last 10 years so I could have the freedom and flexibility to have more control over my schedule. And so I'm going to actually use it to spend time with him, get my own health in priority, and scale back on work a little bit. So those are the personal reasons. On a national mood and empathy level, the season 13 topic I had planned for January doesn't make sense right now. It's too soon as we are all in and processing a lot of collective trauma, grief, and uncertainty right now from COVID. And here in the US, we are a deeply divided country, driven in part by massive disinformation campaigns that have been propping up fascist thought and conspiracy theories. So a lot of the wellness world has actually got sucked in. So if you found some of your favorite wellness experts sounding like they are in QAnon, this is part of the disinformation strategy coming from multiple sources. Part of what they've done to even really smart people, right? Often we think I wouldn't fall for that, but they've found topics that people are sympathetic towards, right? In this case, especially around COVID, is vaccine safety. There's a lot of concern in integrated health, functional medicine, about the totality and safety and effectiveness of the entire vaccine schedule, right? I talked about this on an Instagram live I've been doing. People tend to think you're either anti-vax or pro-science, and that's actually not the best way to think about it. It's pro-vaccine safety, pro-vaccine effectiveness, and you've got to look at each of them individually, and then you have to look at the whole total schedule as well and what that does to the immune system. So I got more into that in Instagram Live, which if you're curious about that, you can watch. But basically, a lot of people in the wellness and integrated space are questioning the entire schedule, and also now that what we know about the gut microbiome, vaccines are a hot topic. And so I think what they've done is really targeted people who are sympathetic, and slowly but surely gotten them to believe more and more disinformation, and it's led to very ironic that people in wellness talking about not understanding public health. So, and I think that's what's happened to some people, and then some people have found it's really profitable to sell people certainty, right, in form of conspiracy theory, in terms of really uncertain times when people are really, really afraid. I am not immune to this. At the beginning, I was really, really afraid of forced COVID vaccinations, because I talk about in one of my Instagram lives why I will not be getting one anytime soon. But I was having my own, forced medical trauma response. And so I think a lot of other people are too, but if you don't understand the lens that you're looking at, or you can really get sucked into these conspiracy theories and disinformation. So um, that's a long way of saying I think there's a lot going on right now, and I hope we will be ready for this topic that I can't wait to share with you in summer of 2021. The podcast will return then regardless. I do really miss it. And that's actually why I've started doing Instagram Lives. And I feel like right now, we all need support around digesting and metabolizing this year. And we need support from each other. And so to help fill this need, I've started doing Instagram Lives on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I answer your questions to support your body and your body story. They've been so fun, and the feedback has been incredible. I've answered questions from people who have just started to emotionally eat during COVID, and why that's happening, to why I won't be getting the COVID vaccine anytime soon, to more general questions about caffeine and how to take care of your body during major life changes. So if that interests you, you can find me on Instagram at Ali, ALIM Shapiro, SHAPIRO. And if you want to watch any of the past Ask Me Anything, you can, click one of those button thingies below my profile. I don't know what the under 35 crowd calls those, but if you look at some of the buttons or the highlights on my profile, there's an Ask Me Anything, and all of them are there if you want to watch some past ones. I would love to connect with you there. In the meantime, in between now and when the podcast comes back in the summer of 2021. And we can, of course, connect through my list. I put out a bi-weekly newsletter called Well Rounded. I'm sorry, bi-monthly. It comes every 2 weeks. Oh, that would be insane to do it. Well, some people interpret bi-weekly as bi-monthly, whatever. I don't need to get into the definition of the word, but I put out a newsletter called Well Rounded that has curated the latest research news around our health and weight. And then I did a couple of special editions on burnout and recovering from burnout that got a lot of positive feedback. Like we talked about I showed the research that, everyone thinks resilience is all about getting outside of your comfort zone, but it's equally important how you recover. And a lot of us haven't had any recovery time this year, which is why we're experiencing so much burnout. So you really learn a lot of counterintuitive health information in those. I put out a managing election guide that people felt was super grounding. And then, just this week, my list got a holiday toolkit to prevent chuck it, F it eating at Thanksgiving and the December holidays, which will be different this year because of COVID. So if you want to subscribe to that, you can go to alishapiro.com. And if you scroll to the bottom, it'll say, opt into Well Rounded. It's basically the intersection of psychology, food, and adult development. And you can also get all the past editions at alishapiro.com/blog. And then the last update is that Truce with Food 2021 will run in February 2021. We had another great round this year. Registration opens the end of January. I'm updating the curriculum right now based on what I've learned over the past couple of years, because I'm always learning more, right? And learning how to help people get clearer faster. And it's going to be such a great round. I'm really excited for the people who I know are joining, and there's still room for people who want to. We will have a new president in the US, which also affects the global audience. I had some of my non-US clients who were having struggle sleeping over the US election. And I was like, I hear you, because of how the US policy affects so much. But we will have a new president, a new Congress, and still lots of work to do. And it will be easier with someone who doesn't see vulnerability as a weakness and need all of our attention constantly. So I'm really excited about the momentum for this round. And if you're interested in it, in Truth with Food, I highly recommend my free Truth with Food mini course that you can find at alishapiro.com/product/free sample Truths with Food. That'll give you a good idea if this is the kind of work you want to do. Discovering, owning, and changing your body story is not easy work. It's really challenging, and it's totally liberating and freeing. So I always like people to take the mini course or listen to season 10 of Insatiable, if you think that this is an alignment for what you're interested in doing. So thanks for hanging with me and tuning in to this update and listening to past episodes. Remember to join me on Instagram and the Instagram lives at 3 p.m. on Thursdays. That's Eastern Standard Time. Ali M. Shapiro. It's like a live podcast, but with video and me answering your questions instead of me going off on tangents. And I still do that sometimes, but they're not as long. So I hope you are all doing well as you can during these times. They are very real and challenging, and we need to take care of each other, including wearing our masks. So I hope to see you on Instagram answering your questions. I'm an extrovert. I miss interacting with everyone and talking about the podcast. So hopefully we can do that in Instagram, but with your questions. Have a wonderful holiday season and start to 2021. And we'll be back in June with a great season. Take care.